What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Worldly Church Girl. It's your girl, your host, Lillian Harshaw. On today's show, I actually have a reoccurring guest. He has just completed his book, and it is now published, and I'm so excited for him. He's a visionary and now a published author. It gives me great honor to introduce to you Stefano Tomasi. You've been very busy since the last time you've been on the show, so I'm going to just dive on in, okay?
Absolutely. I'm glad to be here, Lisa.
I'm glad to have you back on here. I said I was going to have you back. So you've got your book published, which is exciting news. Remind everybody the title of the book, just in case they missed that episode.
Absolutely. The title is The Ethereal Road, a solitary tale. And I stress the solitary tale because it's kind of playing with words, right? It is a soulful book aimed at provide spiritual empowerment to those who read it.
Can you give us a little bit more detail? What's the book about?
Absolutely. So this is a gentleman, that is an accomplished gentleman. He's a financial advisor and he has a perfect life. And at some point, he goes to the hospital for a test and realizes that there might be a possible terminal illness that is, hovering around him. So under pressure, he's urged to reconsider his beliefs. And now he's forced also to reconcile his disturbing past with the man he has become. So he starts to be a little bit scared, and he's fearful actually that his day of reckoning might be near. So he fights to change his destiny and eventually save his soul. I would define this as a very thought-provoking story. Is inspired by a true story, as a matter of fact. It is fictional, entirely fictional, but being set between Tuscany and Chicago, it is a blend of literary fiction and magical realism. It looks really it has a unique look at in a modern way at spiritual empowerment. It deals with the human condition, deals with the dilemmas afflicting human condition. But mostly it's about spirituality. It's about finding the right balance and the right spirituality within ourselves.
What was your driving force to write this story?
Oh, wow. I have a couple of ways to describe that. One is, well, I keep telling stories to my wife. She never listens to me. So I said, you know what? I'm going to write a book. So she's going to have to listen. Well, actually, there are many notions that have been buried in my mind and in my soul for a very long time. Our relationship with God, if any, right? Whether God exists or not, what is our place in the universe? So what type of reality really pertains to us as entities? Are we incarnated spiritual beings? Are we beings of light? Where do we belong in reality? There must be more to what we can see, right? And so I always had this conviction, and I try to translate that into a literary fiction story, so that to articulate that eventually what we are looking for is to some extent already residing within ourselves. And we ought to be able to eliminate the noise, eliminate the excess fog to our eyes, that is, clogging our eyes and our breathing, and be able to express that inner force to be our real selves.
Now, what would you categorize your book as? Is it science fiction? Is it religious? Is it spiritual? Is it a combination of the all the different genres that are out there?
That's a great question. I've been trying to do that myself for a very long time. For a very long time. Well, according to the standards of the literary industry, it would fall into the literary fiction and magical realism. So there is an undertone of magical in it, of science fiction in it, but it's mostly dealing with a spiritual theme. There is religion in it, but to the extent of being a factor, an element of discussion, an element of debate. There's theology in it, there's philosophy in it, but at the end of the day, the man is in it. The human being with his or her dilemmas, uncertainties, doubts, desires, and fears. So it is an introspective journey that I believe a lot of people can relate to because it deals with the day-to-day questions that we all have. Uh, who are we? Are we deserving of being saved? Are we good people? Are we bad people?
Now, what was your biggest challenge in writing this book?
My biggest challenge, I think, frankly, I think writing itself is a very nice thing to do. It's very entertaining, is relaxing, is pleasant. And I think writing is easy to some extent. The difficult part is writing well, right? Probably the most difficult experience and challenge was all the chiseling out that you need to do, all the editing the same words multiple times, hundreds of times, to make sure they really sound right, to make sure that they convey exactly what you want, and to make sure that they not only convey what you want, but they also offer the experience of transformation and realization to the reader. So the editing part is probably the least appealing, but is possibly the most important part of the whole story.
Okay. Now, you had to stop writing for a while. Why was that?
Oh yeah, well, I actually, this is writing is a passion. I would like it to be my main job, my main occupation, but that's not the case. So I have a full-time job that sent me all the way across the world. I went to China for a little over a year.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, and it was a very 20-hour day type of experience from a work perspective. So writing, although it's fun, was not my priority. I had my family there with me, my son, my dog. So I had a lot of things to take care of. So I had to stop for a little bit.
Okay. So, what made you decide to do self-publishing?
Well, that's been a debate I had with myself for quite a long time. I have touched upon the world of agencies, literary agencies, and I reached out several agents throughout the last few years. And so I heard that thousands like me do every day. It is a challenging part, though, to have this airtime with the agents.
Hmm.
It's a very challenging industry with a lot of competition and a lot of material out there. A lot of people who are authoring excellent books, but they struggle in finding good representation. And I would say that probably the genre that I try to follow because of my instinct, because of what I like to do, is possibly not the most commercial one. A lot of men's books are very popular and they just sell very easily, and so are the science fiction and fantasy types of books are really what typically people read. And so once we propose the idea of a philosophical spiritual type of book, sometimes is not probably the best choice for an agent. Agents are looking for things that sell, and that's because that's what they make, they do for a living. So they want to make sure they invest their time properly.
Right. So, what advice would you give another wannabe author who is feels like they've hit that plateau where it's not going anywhere? Their book's not getting either completed or no one wants to sign them on. What advice would you give them?
No, it's a great question. I would definitely give my own perspective, but I always believe that the best answer resides within oneself. And so everybody has to find their own. But in terms of advice, I would look at options. If the interest is writing to sell, to have the next Harry Potter, for example. It is challenging to do, but if that's the goal, then one had to invest in that by producing a story that works. If instead writing is something that you do because you want to change the world and change conscience and affect people's lives so that they walk away with something deep within themselves, that's probably you could also explore self-publishing, which is what I did. There are several platforms that allow you to do that at no cost or very little cost. And so the good side of it is that in terms of royalty, and you tend to retain a good percentage vis-a-vis what will happen when you actually sign up an agent, because they typically get 15%. And usually the publisher takes most of it, and they typically give you a very small one-digit percentage of the sales. So at the end of the day, your artistic, intellectual property, let's call it this way, is a little bit lost in the shuffle, and you're not probably rewarded for that unless you're a famous writer, right?
Right.
It takes a long time to become one, and maybe you'll never be one.
Right.
It's a very difficult industry to be in.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Now, what did you learn about yourself while you were writing?
Patience, I think. I think a lot of people struggle with that, but you have to do the same things over and over multiple times, and you have to maintain focus and concentration on it. And I'm referring to the process of editing. I typically like to get something done and move on, but this is not the case, especially when you're trying to deliver a literary opera that has some impact. And so every single word that you choose to convey a meaning or an emotion has to be weighed multiple times, because the English language is beautiful and is rich, and there are so many ways of saying something, right? So it's a lot of work, and you have to be patient.
Did you see yourself in the main character?
Not really. Well, did the character emerge with some traits that are tied to personal experience of mine? Probably yes, but the character is a combination of snapshots, elements that I have captured by observing other people. So while there are some things that I agree with, if I were speaking with the character across the table right now, some things I don't, and they're not pertaining to my worldview. But they are, in effect, elements that I have felt or experienced to some extent. Yes.
Okay. Now, you just brought up the part of if you were talking to your character. Now, is that part of your character development, like more or less like if this person was sitting in front of me, what would they be saying to me? What kind of conversation would we be having?
Absolutely. Yeah, I had a fortune to interact with other authors in the past, going to workshops, trying to hone on your crafts. You try to understand how other people doing that. And everybody has different methods, right? But I think one of the things that I learned from other people is that you have to have a clear character in mind when you are developing it. And that means this, third party, this external entity must exist, and you have to be able to imagine it, how that person, that woman, or that man is going to act or behave based on determined situations, and be able to express it through the writing, right? Typically, it's not something you would describe, but it's something that people would infer from the actions of the authors, as the characters as problems evolve, and what do we do about it? How do they react to a specific situation? So based on that reaction, the reader infers the character development, right? And ironically, sometimes not everyone perceives the same. A character kind of feels or looks in a certain way, but when you ask somebody else, well, I had something else in mind when I was thinking about that character because of X, Y, Z, right? So it's interesting how we also perceive in different ways because we have our own set of eyes and ears and perceptions. So I found it very fascinating that we're not looking at the same thing, even though it is the same thing when you look at it.
Right. Well, I'm excited for you because I know this has been a long time coming from when we first met. It's been what, 2 years now?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Flies by, doesn't it?
Yeah, time is flying by. So because we connected, pretty quickly because we both have that similar struggle of trying to explain our book to people. And so I'm so happy for you. I really am. You've come a long way. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you so much. I mean, how about you? What about the material you're working
on? The book kind of been placed on hold because of the podcast. The podcast took over.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so hopefully, well, I know I'm going to complete the book. I know the book's going to get done. It's just a question of when. So it's kind of like, when you had to take a break because you had to work. Well, this has turned into my job. So it's been a fulfilling job, and it's I get to talk to a lot of great people like yourself. So I love it.
I'm glad that you mentioned that. Thank you for saying that. But also when you talked about the time factor, I can definitely offer a perspective there because it is part of the book itself that when we talk about spirituality, time and space are really not taken into account. They don't exist. They are factual elements that don't belong in spirituality. And it's interesting that when you look at what a person can develop or can become, cannot be tied to a calendar. He will or she will become whoever they're supposed to become in due time, to reuse the time factor. But when you look at time as a continuum, as a paved line of light, the units of measure that we know and we're accustomed to take into account in our physical life do not apply there. So what I'm trying to say is there is a multi-dimensional reality or realm that we belong to as spiritual beings, and we're not confined by time and space in that particular context.
Yeah, because time means nothing to God. So
exactly.
So you're exactly right. So what's next for you?
Well, that as you can tell, my native language is Italian, right? I'm not pretending an accent I don't have.
Love it.
So as I published this, the English version of my book, I actually received a lot of people, former friends and relatives. When I say former friends, I mean current friends, but former when I was living in Italy, who asked me to have the Italian version so that they can read it as well. And frankly, I never thought about that until then when they asked me. So I thought that, since the self-publishing option is quite inexpensive and allows you to market your books pretty much in any market where Amazon.com allows and produces and sells and delivers, I'm working on an Italian version right now. So I have translated a good part of the book Italian. And of course, I'm working through the challenge of revisiting the story itself because from a grammar perspective, from a syntax, the keyboard itself is a challenge.
Right.
And I'm putting it all together and ready to publish it for the Italian market, for Italian readers. And I'm also talking with friends who are Spanish speakers, and we are exploring the opportunity to translate that into Spanish as well for the Spanish-speaking countries such as Mexico, Latin America, and Spain itself. And so it's a nice adventure. I'm having a lot of fun, and I'm reconnecting with a lot of people all over the world, and they are passionate about what I write about because they see that the topic resonates with them, since we're all human beings in search of answers. And I think what I shared with my book is a perspective that creates some thoughts, some food for thoughts. So a lot of people like that.
Yes. Good, fruitful, healthy thoughts. Yes.
Absolutely. Always positive. Yes.
Because you are such a positive person. That's another reason why we connected the way we did. So how can people contact you?
Yes, of course. So I have a Twitter account, and shall I spell it? It basically is an Italian word, and it sounds like Lucesia, LUCESIA 99, Lucesia 99.
Okay.
And basically, what it means is let there be light.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. And so they can find me on Twitter, and they can find me. I have also a website. I have a YouTube channel. But typically, I just created, frankly, a new Facebook page under my name as an author and novelist. And I started some promotions just a few days ago. So they can also look me up on Facebook under my first and last name.
Awesome. And where can they find the book?
The book can be found on Amazon.com, and it is available as a paperback. So if you like to have the actual physical paper to read, which is what I prefer, frankly, or if you have Kindle, you can download it, and if you have Kindle Unlimited, you can actually download it for free.
Since you've been on my show before, I asked you this question, so you might have a different answer, and then again, you may not. But I'm going to ask you anyway. You ready?
Go for it.
Okay. If you could have any song be your theme song when you walked into a room, what would it be and why?
Oh, I think I remember this question, and I'm going to give you the same answer I gave you last time. I would like to have the national anthem, the U.S. national anthem played.
Okay.
I think, particularly now.
Yes.
In this moment of great doubt and uncertainty and spiritual crisis, I believe. Well, there's a continuous tension and friction among different people, good people, who are stirred by, let's say, twisted realities. The sense that the national anthem gives to me is a sense of unity of one people that believe in equality, that believe in brotherhood, harmony, and peace, and opportunities for everyone. And so that is why I signed up to become an American citizen years and years and years ago, because those are the values I believe. And so I still get emotional when I hear it, because I strongly believe in the idea of the American dream. And I am sincerely a little, more than a little disappointed on how things are evolving lately, because the values that this country has been fighting for, that hundreds of thousands of people have been fighting for, are now being respected. And that, I think, a lot of people, the forefathers, like we typically say, would not be very happy to see the state of the nation as it is today.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard. It breaks your heart. It really does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I cannot thank you enough for coming back on my show. You are such a joy.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. Absolutely.
Thank you, Stefano, for being on my show again. I'm so excited and so happy for you. You just showed that if you are determined, you can and will make your dreams come true. And if you would like to be on Worldly Church Girl, click the link below, shoot me an email, and let's see what we can do with that thing. Season 3 is officially a wrap. We are going into season 4, y'all. So subscribe, hit that button, and let's get into it. And as always, thanks for joining your one and only Worldly Church Girl.